Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, November 3rd, and started off as a slow week, but it ended with a really big bang. Google Core update for November, 2 weeks after the October update finished. Google Reviews update is going to be coming out next week, according to Google. It's going to be a big change to that one. Mobile first indexing is completely done. SEOs and Google have ruined the internet, according to The Verge. Helpful content update tips from Google. Local ads and AI news and so much more. So definitely stay tuned and make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I love the comments, so please do. Of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Bruce Clay. Thank you, Bruce Clay, for sponsoring. Bruce Clay is one of the founding fathers of the SEO space, doing search marketing since 1996, before the internet was ruined. Just joking. Bruce Clay is big into SEO training. Check out SEOtraining.com to learn more about SEO training, and also check them out at bruceclay.com. Thank you, Bruce, for sponsoring, and thanks for all you do for the internet. Okay, so first up, the Google November 2023 core update started to roll out last night around 3:09 p.m. Eastern. Starting to already, it was funny, even that morning I started to notice ranking shuffles and changes in the Google search results. So it does seem to be rolling out now. Not sure if it's exactly related to this November update, the volatility that I'm seeing, but there is a significant amount of chatter. Again, it's named the November 23 broad core update. Started November 2nd, yesterday around 3 p.m. Eastern. The rollout should take about 2 weeks, targets all types of content. It's a global impact. It also will impact Discover. And this is, I think what number is this? This is like the 4th core update of the year, the 8th official Google update throughout the whole entire year, but we see many unconfirmed updates as we discussed. And we have a lot of chatter about that. So if you were hit, you can see the ranking volatility in these charts were pretty significant, and you were definitely not alone. Also, yesterday I reported that Google has patched the Google October core update because there was a Discover bug. So when the core update for October launched on October 5th, about a month ago, for the whole month, almost for the whole entire month of October, Discover had an issue with that core update. So if you notice your Discover traffic significantly dive after that core update, and you actually saw you improved from that core update in terms of search, core search, then maybe there was a bug with the Google Discover, and you should notice your Discover traffic go back up. But if overall your traffic from search and Discover both drop, you probably will not see Discover go up. But Google did fix a bug on October 31st for the October 5th core update specific to Discover traffic, Google Discover traffic, not for search, but for Google Discover. So we definitely saw a lot of people say, yeah, I saw my Discover traffic bump up after this. So keep in mind, there was the October update, the November update. The October update had a bug specifically with Discover traffic, not with search, but with Discover, that Google fixed on October 31st. Got all that? Next up, Google also said that there will be a reviews update probably launching next week. This will be the last time Google actually announces a review update. Google said, and let me quote, "We expect an update to our review system to start rolling out next week." Google added, "They will no longer be providing periodic notifications of improvements to our review system." The reason because they will be happening on a regular and ongoing pace, meaning it's probably almost real time. So keep that in mind. If you want to know about future Google review updates, you probably have to find it out from me in terms of unconfirmed updates. But there definitely will be a big review update next week, and that will be the last time probably Google confirms any of those review updates. Mobile first indexing. It's really done this time. Google announced, I think a few months ago, back in late May, that Google was finished moving sites to the mobile first indexing. Now Google announced this week from John Mueller, the trek is now complete, he said. He said Google mobile first indexing is completely done. They're completed. It's done. Stick a fork in it. He said, it's been a long road getting from there to here. We're delighted to announce that the trek to mobile first indexing is now complete. Again, it was complete, but it's now really complete. With that, John Mueller said he announced that the Search Console settings feature for indexing crawling, which shows you what is crawling you, smartphone or desktop crawler, will be removed. There is still a bug that exists that tells some sites that are on desktop indexing that they are desktop indexing when they're really mobile indexing. There's a bug with that. There's been a bug with that for several months, and Google said they'll fix it, but now they no longer have to fix it because they actually went ahead and will be removing that feature shortly, Google said. Just keep in mind very small set of sites do not work on mobile at all, so Google's not going to be able to crawl them. These sites simply just don't load at all. Google can't do anything to get them to fix that because if they don't load on mobile, Google can't render them. Google said they will try to continue to crawl those on using the legacy desktop indexer for a while, and reevaluate every few years. So basically, it's not done, but it is done. Got that? And then The Verge. The Verge came out with an article. The article is titled, Did SEO experts ruin the internet or did Google? Did we, SEOs, ruin the internet or did Google search ruin the internet? Now, this comes from a writer who I spoke to, I think, several months ago, Amanda Chicago Lewis. When I spoke to her, she really knew absolutely nothing about SEO or how search worked at all. I spent about an hour on the phone with her describing all this. This was several months ago. And then the article came out this week at The Verge, that article. It was super entertaining to read. I was laughing the whole time. It brought back some memories as well because they interviewed a lot of people that I know. A lot of people from the industry, Darren Babin, Bruce Clay, Danny Sullivan, Matt Cutts. The list goes on in terms of the people that they interviewed. And it was super interesting to read because it reminded me of the old days. But that's what it was. It was talking about the old days of SEO and how easy Google was to spam. And it basically said that Google search stinks. It's not better than it was 20 years ago. And that's completely not true. But in any event, it was a super fun read to read. It's actually not accurate. It basically reminds me of the 1999, 2003, pre-Florida, pre-Panda for sure, ways of doing SEO. So it really got the whole industry in a buzz, and it got a tremendous amount of reaction, as you would expect. But it was an interesting read. So no, I don't think SEOs or Google ruined the internet. I think the internet is not ruined. I think the internet's way better than it was 20 years ago. It used to be, I don't know if you remember, a spam fest. You clicked on anything, ads were flying all over the place, downloading malware constantly. Google would serve you with search results. You did a search for Disney, you got porn. It was horrible back 20 years ago. So I really don't think you compare, but these people really didn't really know the internet 20 years ago, especially Google search. And I've been writing about Google search for just under 20 years now. So whatever. In any event, moving on, Google's Danny Sullivan said it explained why Google search updates their algorithms. He said the web changes, people change, content change, and people's expectations change. He wrote, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but basically that. He basically said the web changes, content changes, people's expectation change, and thus the Google's algorithms have to keep improving to match those expectations. So keep that in mind, and that makes sense. Danny Sullivan was on a roll this week. He wrote a lot of stuff, discussed a lot of stuff. He was in the news a lot. And the next thing he did was he went ahead and told recipe bloggers, we've heard the complaints. Ensure that key parts of your recipes are easy to access for people. Basically giving a warning to recipe bloggers who generally write really fluffy articles that don't get to the point until later, that you need to provide your users a way to get to the point so that your readers like your content. Of course, if your readers don't like getting to the point, write it that way. But keep in mind, it's all about the people and making sure your content's easy to access. So I think there's a warning to recipe bloggers that something's brewing. I do hope so. This is like the joke of the town. Recipes are talking about the history of the family that created the recipe, and then 5,000 or 10,000 words later, it gets to the recipe itself. Danny Sullivan also said to stop thinking about what I should do for Google when it comes to content and think about what should I do for what should I do for users when it comes to content. Again, more about the helpful content update, more about the advice to recipe bloggers and so forth. Google's also said, just a reminder, that the helpful content update uses machine learning to understand if the content is helpful. And old content doesn't make a piece of content unhelpful. Old content can be helpful, it could be unhelpful, it depends on how it's written and the context. And then finally, Google said, just a reminder, the helpful content update is a site-wide signal. And because it's a site-wide signal, changing a single character on a single page of your website is not going to go ahead and help you get yourself released from any Google helpful content update. You need to go ahead and change the content overall on your website because it's a site-wide algorithm that looks at your whole site and all your content, not just one single character on a single page. Danny Sullivan also said this week that schema does not make your site rank better. He said schema has no impact on rankings. It's not a ranking signal. It only actually improves your visibility in the search results in terms of the rich results, the stars, the video snippets, the extra dressing, as you would call it, in the search results, which then make maybe people more click on your results better, but it doesn't help you actually rank, according to Danny Sullivan. And Google has said this countless times over the years, and a lot of people don't believe it. Also, Danny Sullivan talking about keyword stuffing. He said it's not about the number of times you repeat the word on the page. It's more about how the page is written. If it reads weird and reads like somebody wrote it for a search engine and it reads just completely like awkward, then that's keyword stuffing. If you put the keyword on there 100 times and it makes sense to write it there 100 times because it makes it easier to read, then fine, do it. But keyword stuffing is not about the number of times a word is put on a page. Google has updated their video structure data documentation to stress time zone related stuff. Google made 2 changes in the thing to specify that they want to go ahead and make sure that you include the time zone, or else they default to the default time zone that Googlebot crawled it. Google is testing a new deals green label that's really bold and in your face. This was spotted by Kashul. Here's some screenshots of it. Also, Morty Oberstein and Brian Fitzgerald found this as well. So here's some screenshots of that. Google's doing a lot of stuff with deals, which we'll probably get into more next week. So definitely stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss those videos. Google is going to be adding new retailer data to retailer knowledge panels, like deals and other information about that retailer in the knowledge panel. Here's a before and after screenshot from Google. So this is coming up, so definitely stay tuned. Google has added new Google Business Profile attributes. First, they added small business profile attributes. Google announced this week, and there's actually a way to filter by those business attributes. You can go ahead and go into your Google Business Profile and add those attributes to say you are a small business, and those attributes will show up on your Google Business Profile local listing. It will show up in your shopping results if you have a shopping campaign, as well as there's a way to actually filter by that coming forward. Also, Google Business Profile added new detailed parking attributes that tell your customers about how the parking is in your area. This one was spotted by Claudia, which is a ton of parking attributes, which is beyond, which is, I'm not sure why Google does that, but in any event, if you need to know how the parking works in that area, it's good to have those. I don't see these for all my business attributes, so I guess it depends on the type of business you are in. Google Merchant Center now has added the Google Business Profile details to your Google Merchant Center Next screen. This is something they showed off before, but now it seems to be rolling out, according to Emmanuel Flossie. Google Local Service Ads seems to be showing the more diverse set of advertisers more evenly. Joy Hawkins wrote a big report about this coming from Crystal Horton, who posted on the Sterling Sky blog that Google is now rotating ads more evenly, basically showing more diverse set of advertisers across the local LSAs, the local service ads in Google search, which is pretty interesting. And she has a much more detailed post over there. Google Ads is now showing this intrusive pop-up survey when you go ahead and pause your campaign. This was spotted by PPC Greg, who noticed this when he was pausing a campaign for a certain reason, just for a certain amount of time, and the survey came up, why are you pausing it, which is kind of intrusive, and then he had to go through a bunch of hoops to actually pause the campaign. Google said this is a way for them to collect more information about why you're pausing the campaign. Google Ads Editor version 2.5 is out. Definitely take a look at that. It just came out a couple days ago, actually yesterday. I have all the release notes on the blog at searchengineroundtable.com. Google AdSense has updated its revenue share structure to change and impression stuff. This is a big change, and AdSense publishers are really, really concerned that this is going to lead to AdSense publishers getting paid less. Now, Google said this is not going to change. They don't expect us to change the actual payout for AdSense publishers, but we will see if that happens. But the 2 big changes are, one, Google is updating the AdSense revenue share structure, which basically Google, which was that publishers retain 68% of their revenue generated from their ads. Now Google's splitting the AdSense revenue into separate rates on the buy side and sell side. Either way, Google said sometimes Google publishers getting 80% minus the sale side and send side, and by overall, publishers still get the 68% according to Google. Well, we'll see. And the second change that is Google's going to start paying and switch to a per impression payment system versus a per click impression system, per click system. Paying per impression versus per click, and this is more standard according to Google. Now, it's funny because obviously Google's like, on their search side, don't go ahead and be aggressive with your ads. But on the AdSense side, Google's like, be aggressive with your ads. And this is spotted by Glenn Gabe, and a lot of people are talking about this conflict of interest. Of course, there's 2 different sides of the coin. They don't really talk to each other, but it is what it is. Google AdSense has also launched a new AdSense Review Center, which is actually on not just on AdSense, but also on AdMob and Ad Manager. And this basically gives you a larger area to view ads, a new easy way to filter ads. Bulk actions are easier, supposedly. Image search is easier to use, and also improved detail view. So definitely take a look at that in your Ad Review Center. And Google Search Generative Experience now is triggering for recipes. This was spotted by Glenn Gabe. So now if you want to do searches for recipes and get a cool recipe idea, keep that in mind. Google AI may generate one for you, and that might be bad for recipe bloggers. And Google Bard is now responding in real time, like its competitors like Bing Chat and so forth. There's a way to actually turn it off and say just respond when the answer is complete in the settings. This is, again, announced by Google. And event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SERoundtable.com over the past week. Everyone have a great, safe weekend, and I'll speak to you guys next. Goodbye.